Hello and welcome to a brand new Mind Mastery video. Today I'm going to talk about the more practical aspect of the Joker archetype and what can we do in order to kind of integrate it more in our lives and use its energy for creating positive outcomes and a positive direction in our lives. So we know that the Joker archetype could be also called a trickster or simply a fool, and it's related to this energy in our lives or the pattern of how this energy manifests itself, that is about kind of pointing out the absurdities of life and focusing on the journey rather than the destination. So it's all about kind of not taking ourselves too seriously, but allowing a little bit of chaos into our lives so we can sort of stir things and welcome the new experiences, welcome the change in our lives, and welcome sort of new energy, new elements into our existence. The Joker is also about kind of living in a present moment. It's not so much about planning, it's not so much about controlling anything, but more about living in this present moment as authentic human beings. The opposite state to this state of the trickster or Joker is that of being very rigid, very controlling, very focused on kind of managing everything in our lives, not allowing this novelty or this chaos to kind of disrupt things a little bit. But it's more about, taking control over who we are and what we are doing and what's going on in our lives. So taking also control over our environment. And obviously this attitude, the more we push it, the more it's going to create insecurity and anxiety, because then the more control we think we have, the more we're going to be scared that we're going to lose it at some point. So obviously it's going to create a state of insecurity and anxiety. And additionally, if we don't have enough of this Joker energy in our lives, we might start feeling like everything is kind of stagnated and nothing is moving forward. So everything stays the same because there's no element from the outside to disrupt the status quo, disrupt the pattern that we've created, disrupt the structure that we are so rigidly attached to. And the more we deny ourselves this Joker energy, this Joker archetype in our life, the more we open ourselves or we start being vulnerable to this archetype coming up in unexpected moments, in moments where we don't want it to come up. So the more we deny it, the more we repress it, the more destructive it's going to come out, because we think we can control it, we think we can deny this energy, but in reality we don't have as much control over our psyche as we like to have, or we think that we have. So just as Jung pointed out, the more unconscious you are of your mind, the more it's going to rule your life. So that's something to consider as well while thinking about this Joker archetype. Allowing this Joker's energy into our lives, of course, if it's balanced energy, can lead to being more open-minded, more flexible, more adaptable, and kind of creating this balance between chaos and order. So between the structure and absolute chaos. So kind of knowing when to control things and when you let go, when to focus on taking action, when to focus on creating structure, and when to let it go and see how things unfold. That's where there's this opportunity in chaos where it's not just about, welcoming random things, but among these random things, there might be a treasure. There might be something that is very useful to your personal growth, to your development. And there are a few things that we can do in order to welcome this energy, in order to integrate it in our day-to-day life. The first one is that we need to be able to learn how to not take ourselves so seriously. So this is about being flexible and allowing ourselves to make mistakes, so that we are more open to experimenting with various things. We are more likely to try different and new things in our lives. And this creates, again, this opportunity for growth and learning and new experiences, because if you don't take yourself too seriously, then, you don't really care if you make a mistake in the first place. The second aspect of integrating Joker's energy into our lives is about focusing on the present moment. So it's all about the journey and not so much about the destination. So focusing on what you are creating right now, what you are experiencing, not so much about the outcomes. So what sort of benefits are you going to get out of your actions, but more about how you're engaging with life in this present moment, what you're interested in, What sort of sensations are you experiencing? What sort of things are you noticing around you? This is something that can be an outcome of integrating the Joker's archetype into your life, because Joker is all about present moment. It's not about planning. It's not about creating some strategy for the future, but it's more about living in the moment and appreciating simple things, appreciating what's going on right now. So simple pleasures, beauty, aesthetics, anything that can be connected with this present moment and sensations that you might experience. And lastly, integrating this energy and philosophy of this archetype is also about being open to flowing from moment to moment. So adapting to changing circumstances rather than grasping for the familiar, grasping for what you know and what you think you can't control. It's more about being open to, chaos and unforeseen circumstances. So imagine when something new happens in your life. How do you normally react? Are you open to it, or do you try to avoid it or perhaps control it and integrate it into this existing structure that you are having? So Joker's archetype is more all about flowing from moment to moment. So being open to unforeseen and changing circumstances, adapting moment by moment to whatever comes around. All this chaos that, can surround us once we are comfortable enough with relinquishing some control and some rigidity that our mind wants to create. And the last point I want to make is that obviously this energy of the Joker archetype needs to be balanced by other archetypes, such as the ruler or the hero, that can stop us from basically going astray. Because the more you go into this extreme of a Joker, the more chaos you're going to start introducing in our lives, where essentially you might end up in a place where you have no idea what the hell is going on. And, you might eternally be bound to the present moment, which, might feel really nice, might feel pleasant, but it's also worth to consider where we are going at least once in a while. It doesn't mean we have to create these very rigid goals and outcomes for ourselves, but at least know where we are going, because otherwise you don't know what you are creating in this present moment. So balancing this energy of a Joker with the ruler or the hero could be very beneficial to being flexible enough, but also having at least a little bit of structure that can give a shape to your life, can give a shape to your personal development, so that you don't destroy your life completely and you don't go too far into this Joker extreme where you perhaps even become a cynic or someone who doesn't take anything seriously. So it's all about awareness and knowing whether we are going into some extremes, whether some aspect of our lives or our personality requires some attention, and paying attention to how much we are going into the Joker archetype or how much we are going into this energy of the ruler or the hero can bring a little bit of balance in how we are acting in everyday life. So that was my short take on a Joker or a Trickster archetype. My name is Joanna and I'm a coaching psychologist. If you'd like to schedule a session with me or free 20 minutes consultation, don't hesitate to send me a message. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.